Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. I got a nice and different show today for everybody. I usually interview a lot of uh, famous comedian, and then Fridays I do something more casual. But today I got a really funny man on. We've been friends now for a little bit, uh, and is getting to get very well known in the city for something that he did during this COVID uh, time. But we'll discuss it with him in just a bit. But let me introduce you to funny man Daniel Mellito. Let me see. Let me if it's on. Dan, how
I'm
are you, my
here.
friend? Hey,
Ciao, my
Daniel,
friend. How are you?
what's going on? How have you been?
Uh,
Where you been?
I was surprised yesterday when you text me. So I'm here and we'll have a little chat or whatever and see how it goes and we'll go from there.
Listen, I know you for a while, and you're a very, very funny man. And what caught my eye, which I found, don't get me wrong, I found it actually very disturbing, what you've been doing during this break. You know, some people try to better themselves, and I guess you did it in your own way. Uh, but before actually we'll talk about it, let me show a clip so people know what I'm talking about, okay?
Yeah, go
Let,
for it.
let, let's go for it.
I didn't see him.
Yeah. So it was. I guess we're having a little trouble with the internet here. It wasn't really flowing, but as you can see, everybody, he was dressed on a what is it, tutu?
Well, I did like five or six of them. One, I grabbed, first off, they were all in my girlfriend's exercise clothes. But yeah, one I did in the tutu. The rest I did in I don't know what they call them, leggings or exercise pants, and then I had her sports bra on, and then of course, my Lavans was sticking out like un grande un Lavans over here.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
you're
we
a
did
big
five or six
guy.
of them.
I found the video very disturbing and not appropriate for anybody that would like to procreate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, guess what? So it started off as a goof, right? So the first two I didn't make them public. You know what I mean? My friends just seen them, and then they said, why don't you make them public? I'm like, I don't want to make them public. Well, I made them public. I think the third or the fourth one, and then it just took off. I think I got in the beginning like 6, 7, 8,000. I was like, wow, for here that's crazy, right? So I think the fifth one, I don't remember the numbers, 5, 6, whatever. I think I did 6 total, but the fifth one did close to 15,000. And then I don't know if you showed it or whatever. The news come over.
Just a workout video. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the news come over like the third or fourth video, and I was like, she called me up. She's like, "Hey, I seen you on Facebook." Oh yeah, come on over. We had fun with it, It was all just off the cuff. There was nothing rehearsed, nothing set up. It was just like hit the camera. The dog got involved, and of course, my girlfriend's laughter in the background was, hugely a part of the videos. That was fun.
Your girlfriend, and I would not have let her let you borrow her clothes, and because she probably cannot wear them ever again. You're a big guy. You must have stretched those clothes.
Yeah, when this is all over, I got to buy all that stuff again. Well, you met her before. I think one of the meetings we had way back when with the Italian Heritage Club that we were going to do here.
Yeah.
Right, there was
you and I served on the board together.
Right, that was 3 years ago. That's when you and I became friends after the meetings and whatnot. I caught the vibe from you. It was like, all right, this is a down to earth guy, blah blah blah. And then we had a couple cocktails.
Another friend of ours is saying hello right now. Z Donaldson is on saying
so Z's a good man. So Z I did a show with my buddy Larry on Z's show, and me and Larry Crecchiola, we've done a couple of shows, one with Z and one with Billy Vinci. We had a good time. Look, this is what we did.
Disruption Network.
We had a couple of glasses of wine and we bullshitted for an hour. It was great. That's kind of what I'm doing now.
So now, how does somebody going from being a Marine, right, to wear a tutu? That's a question, because like I said, you think Marines, tough guys, and next thing you know, you got the dancing around.
Well, here's the deal. I'm confident in myself, so I'm not really worried what anybody says about me. I mean, I've been through some, whatever, Marine Corps training and being in the Marines and all that stuff. I don't brag about it or whatever. But if you can't laugh at yourself, then you really don't get what, laughter's about. I mean, yeah, look, so what? I had, I had a couple people or whatever out in town. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you wore that and blah, blah, blah. Dude, you know what I mean? What do I care? So look, I'll do just about anything to catch a laugh. That's about as far as I'll go there, but it was good. It was fun, man. We had a lot of fun with it.
You're a popular guy around Utica, but no, people don't really call you Daniel. How did you get the nickname Mertz?
Okay, so there's no rhyme or reason behind it. It was my father's nickname. And so when I was a little kid, my father was a popular guy in the area too. My father owned a restaurant and a bar, and so I was always Little Mertz, and then I had an uncle that they called Mertz as well. So I was always Little Mertz, and it was Danny Mertz, and now both my uncle and my father have passed. So I'm the only Mertz left. I have no idea where that came from. Nobody really says where it came from, and most of those people are gone. But yeah, everybody knows me by Mertz. But you know what? That's mostly from hanging out in bars for 30 years when I was younger. So. You know what I mean? I mean, you drank with me, so you kind of know.
I hang out with you a few times at a bar.
So that's that's how I became. I don't know, popular or whatever. Listen, I got a couple of ex-wives that'll tell you I'm not that popular, my friend.
I'm sure. Actually, we have some people want to say hello. Hello, Lucia and Julie Pollen are on. This says, "Hi guys," they're saying hello. My other question to you is that so Utica is one of probably the least amount of city hit, they got hit by COVID. I don't think you guys have as many cases as Western New York or New York City. How's the situation down there?
So here's the deal with Utica. Utica, Rome, and this area, um, I'd say the majority of the cases are from this part of the county, but the county is so spread out. Like there's huge rural areas. So there's not a
Right.
lot of, contact with people. There's a lot of farmland out, in the county. So the county, I think, Oneida County is like 200,000. And so for the amount of cases we have, obviously we opened up Friday and today's Monday. So some people on this phase one deal are going back to work.
Yeah.
So, the majority of people that I know, followed the guidelines and done what they had to do. And so that's why we're here. But, you do what you got to do. And then, whether you agree with it or you don't, I don't know. I can't get into all that. You just kind of
Yeah.
try to play it safe. And then when things open up, you go do what you got to do. I know Rochester and area and Buffalo was pretty bad for a while, but didn't you guys get the okay?
Well, in Rochester, we have about a little less than 160 deaths, which, I mean, obviously 160, it's a number, but it's nothing. I mean, very little compared to what's going on in Westchester County, Long Island, New York City area, where they have about 26,000 deaths down
Well,
there.
that's where all the international travel come from. So,
Correct.
and
Correct.
there's 20 million people over there, whatever. Look, I'm a guy that just rolls with the punches and, I'm on Facebook a lot. You know that. I don't get involved in all that. Listen, you got your own views and viewpoints, and,
Well, the problem
that's
is
good.
this. I mean, I think we live in a society right now that no matter what you say, you're going to offend. I think we used to be able to, oh, and not everybody, obviously,
Right.
but I think we used to be able to have different point of views. And if somebody approached you with a different point of view, you would not get offended. You just realize that the other person is different, uh, it's just different, thinks different, but you always had the respect. Nowadays, it seems a lot more that if you have one point of view, the other person is going to get offended, like you're personally attacking them.
Yeah. The thing is you can't
That's
have
why
a
I try to
conversation.
stay away from political posts. Huh?
The thing is you can't have a conversation about it. Everybody's mad. What are you mad about? All right, let me hear your side, hear my side, and then, all right, that's the end of it. I mean, my friends and I don't got time for that shit. I'm 57 years old. I'm not going to argue with every day about, who likes this one and who likes that one. It's a waste of time. Waste of time for me. I say have a glass of wine. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to have.
Uh, Now, the other thing is this, because you go to a lot of shows, okay? You're always around town.
Hmm.
How, and as you know, the comedy entertainment industry has been hit pretty hard, and we're going to be part of phase four.
Yep.
Phase four is going to be the last thing to open, the shows, the concerts, and all that. And even then, we might be facing restriction. As someone that goes out often, how do you feel? How are you thinking about approaching this? Are you gonna not go out or with caution? What do you think? Because over there you got the Stanley Theater, 3,000
You're
seats,
beautiful. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Look, so
Gorgeous, one of
here's
the best
I'm a
entertainment
concert
theaters.
goer. I'm a concert goer. I love to go to Saratoga. I like to go to Saratoga for the horses. We go to the Stanley for shows, wherever, right? So yeah, gonna be phase four. I go to the casino. So that's probably 6 weeks away. I don't know how everything is gonna work. You and I talked about it earlier. So you got a room of
Yeah,
400, right? So you're gonna social distance every 4 seats. It's 125 now. Now, what do you got to charge for a ticket? Is it going to feel the same? Is it worth the risk of trying to sell tickets at probably double the cost? Are people going to really want to go and get out there? I don't know. It's, it's for me, it's a personal choice. Right now, if there was a concert tomorrow, I ain't going.
Yeah.
That's today.
Okay.
But in July and August, I don't know. You know what I mean? I love Saratoga. I take lawn seats every time I go to Saratoga for every show. I like to be in the middle with the people, dancing around and doing whatnot, right? I don't know. You guys, I don't know how it's going to go for you guys. I really don't. I seen, I don't know how many shows you promoted there. I've probably seen at least 4 or 5 of them. I seen Vic. I seen Mike Marino.
I don't know if you showed up. I did Sal Valentinelli last year at the Stanley as well, which was a great.
Well, the Uncle Carlo and Louis show I couldn't go to. Remember, they conflicted with the. I had a wedding.
Guys, that's another thing. One of the things I love about Utica, and I was blessed enough to, throughout the years, to actually attend a few times. It's in September. You guys have this huge feast, which brings you back like the old country, the San Cosimo Damiano feast, where people come from Canada and all over the place.
Yeah, that's the one it was that same weekend.
Correct.
That feast has been going on since I was a kid. I've been going there since I was old enough to walk. But the difference of that feast is that everybody, besides the religious aspect of it, it's all families, and people bring, like, I'll say, what are you going to bring? And my friend Larry Creccio likes to bring eggplant caponata, you know what I mean? Or, whatever, sausage, and then everybody sits, we eat, we share wine, we share drinks, we listen to La Banda Rosa, has been around forever. It's a family thing. And this little town, when I was a kid, was 100,000 people.
Yeah.
Now it's like 65. There's still some of us old timers. Well, now I'm an old timer, but we still go and we still see the same people. We're all still family here. That's why you like it.
Oh, I do. I actually not like it. I love it over there. I've been coming around for quite a few years over there. First of all, I want to say hello to Angelo Di Lazio and Carletto Galati, a good friend of mine from back in Italy.
Where are they from? Catania? Aren't you from Catania?
That's right.
Right? So I have a good friend who's from Bagheria. And
it's on the other side of Sicily over there.
So I've been in contact with him all through this.
Yeah.
And he told me, listen to one thing I'm telling you. What I tell you today is going to happen in 2 weeks over there.
Yeah.
Spot on the whole time. Now, Bagheria is in phase 2 over there. And he just got to open up his store, ceramic tile store that he opened up. So they're moving along. So, I don't want to get back into this COVID thing, but I think for a while it's not going anywhere until there's a vaccine. So we got to live. So each little step we take, we'll be safe. And when we go along a little bit further, put our toe in the water.
Bagheria and the rest of Sicily got hit not as hard as the rest of Italy,
right.
Especially northern Italy. They got destroyed. Hello, Lucio Galeano, another friend of mine from Catania, but he lives in Winnipeg. Thank you for getting onto
you
the
still
show.
You still got La Familia over there?
I have all my father's side. Everybody lives over there. I still got tons of friends which I keep in contact with all the time. I'm a huge, I'm a big soccer fan and I'm a huge Catania supporter. So a lot of my friends that support the team, we always keep in touch and discuss the team strategies and such. And that
my family is from my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandmother's Barese. She's from Loco Rotondo, and my grandfather's from Frazione, outside of Rome.
So the Barese side of your family. The other day, I had comedian Frank Spadone, which
I seen the show.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable comedian. He's one of my favorites. I brought him to Utica twice.
I seen him. He was
Yeah.
in with one of the, I think there were
The-
4 at one of the
Correct.
shows.
The first time I
Bad
did
Boys
the
in
Bad
Comedy.
Boys, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
The
seen him.
first time I had the Marino, Spadone, Guido Grasso, and Will Parisi, which he's always on tour with Andrew Dice Clay. And then I
Then
brought
you
him
brought
last
Marino
year.
back, right?
Yeah, I brought him a few times. I always work with Marino.
He had one of the shows of that guy. I thought he was hysterical. Was he was the Robert De Niro impersonator.
Yeah, Robert Nash, the
Yeah,
De
it was
Niro guy.
funny.
Yeah.
It was funny.
He does look. I mean, if he wasn't as tall
Right.
as he is, he would really could pass. But he looks, the expression, the voice. Yeah, absolutely. He was from America Got Talent. No, but I was going back to the Stanley. There's another theater in Cleveland that is the same size as Stanley, about 3,200 people. I was just talking to them, and what they decided to do was to cut down the theater, set it up. It went from 3,200 to 600. That's horrible. Who's going to rent a theater? Is going to run $10,000, $15,000 to rent, plus pay for all the expenses for only 700 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the problem. And it even if it was, I don't even say allowed, but whatever. Even if they say, okay, you know what, it's good to go. Now, how do the people feel? You know what I mean? Today, I don't think a lot of people would say yeah. August, September, maybe. So, for example, Saratoga's opening the racing. I'm a racing fan. No fans.
Yeah. Right.
You
Now,
know what I mean?
are you because now the sports are supposed to be going on soon. Well, baseball was supposed to be on. NBA was supposed to finish the season, and then obviously you got football coming up, and hockey a little later. How do you feel with about having those sports with no spectators, but just so you can watch at home? Are you for it or against it?
I'll put it to you this way. I watched Korean baseball the other morning at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. They had cutouts sitting in the stands. It was different, right? But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Baseball's a little different. You got the catcher, the batter, and the umpire. The umpire was wearing a mask. Okay, so that's like the least of the sports that has close contact. So
Correct.
I think they're going to do it in July, right? I think they're going to make. I think they said 3 divisions based on geography.
Yeah.
But hockey here, the Utica Comets, they canceled. Yeah. There's no thought of so the NHL's got to be right behind them. Well, the Comets here were huge.
Even for later in the year, did they cancel this season or the next one?
No, they were in the middle of almost 3/4 of the way through the season. They canceled it. The AHL, correct. They're done. So the NHL hasn't officially said anything, but I think they're done. So I think the NBA is going to be done. Now you got another thing with college football. There's no really governing body. So if one conference wants to play and the other one day, Tony, it's a day to day, Yeah.
So, but let me ask you a question. Ask everybody the same question that I have on. What's something positive that you get out of the COVID? Because obviously there's a million negative attributes to this disease, to this virus, but something positive that came out of it.
Okay, not so much me because my kids are grown. My girlfriend's kids are grown, but their kids, even though they have to, they've had to, teach them school and whatnot. Now it's come back to where the family is there every night at 5:00 having dinner. Then everyone's not running around. Joey's got baseball because there's no baseball, right? They're not getting Joey chicken nuggets at McDonald's and dropping them off and going to see the other one. Everything's slowed down. So they're able to spend time with their families again like we did. I forget, how old are you?
Me, I'm in my 40s.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. So you're Italian, but you remember, listen, dinner was at 5 o'clock. You had to be at the dinner table at 5 o'clock. When the street lights were off, your
For
time
us, it was
went
always,
on. Yeah, you go home.
yeah.
Sunday dinner was at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we did 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock in my family. Everybody had to be there no matter what.
Right. So now a lot of the families, well, the kids' families are able to spend time with their kids again. You know, everybody sits at the table, shares a meal. You know, it's different because you can't ask, you know, how was your day? Because you're with them all day. But you
Right.
know, I see that in a lot of families that things have slowed down, and they get to, you know, basically reacquaint themselves with their own families. I mean, everybody was so busy. Even now, people are in a hurry to go to, you know, where are you going? You know, they're in the bank line. The bank lines are long, right?
Yeah.
They're impatient. They're tooting the horn. Who won't let you in? Where are you going? Just nowhere to go. Relax. So,
So
you know, that's the good part I see out of it. Other than that, I mean, if you haven't been affected financially, you know, there's nowhere to spend money. So,
I'm gonna give a try to show another video of you to see. Let me see if I can make this happen. Let me see.
Minka, you went all the way back to that?
Hold on. Can you hear it? Let me see if I can put it back on here.
You know how long ago I did that?
Right, and I want to show people because you've been doing. I mean, you've been doing stuff. You know, I think in you, this is something that you really wanted to do, and now you know. Let me see if I can. Let me
Yeah,
see.
I'm
Let me
retired
see.
now. I finally found out what I want to do in life.
Yeah, that's right. You got all this time with you. So let me see if I can bring this on a second.
We called him Luigi Claus.
That's right. That's right. Let me see if he shows up here. It's not showing up in my stream. I don't know. I think it might be some trouble with the internet or so.
You know how old that is? That's old. That was,
Right.
I mean,
Let me
10 years
see.
ago.
Let me try
I had
again.
fun with that, though. I used to, long before, you know, I don't even know who was doing what or whatever. I used to go through drive-throughs with Michelle, and I used to pretend I couldn't talk English. And so I say, they're on there too. Excuse me, what is this a Big Mac? I don't know, the Canadian bacon or, you know, bullshit like that. We used to go through the drive-throughs. They'd be hysterical. They would only be fun if the kid played along. Because there were some kids that are like, I don't know what it is. But when they played along and tried to explain it to me, they were great. They were great. They're on there somewhere too. We used to,
Well, for people that haven't seen the Santa Claus video, what were you doing there?
so long story short about
Explain
that.
it to them. In the
So
meanwhile,
I
I'll
used to,
explain to them. In the meanwhile, I'll take a look at what if I can find it. Go ahead.
all right. So what we used to do, the Santa Claus thing is the story went, I rented the costume one year for my work, and they never asked me for the costume back. So I ended up keeping the costume. So what we used to do is I used to go, you know, make this video called Luigi Claus. And you got to see it. It's hard to describe. Anyways, I would sing like Luigi Claus. So, anyways, I'm gonna pour another glass of wine. So that was that, Antonio. I don't know what you're showing now, but
Oh no, I haven't shown it yet. I'm having trouble getting it on. Uh, what kind of wine are you drinking?
I am drinking Castello di Verenzano Chianti Classico 2013.
Oh, a nice Chianti, huh?
Don't you remember the Chianti I gave you after the show? See, you're not a
That's right.
drinker. You're not a drink. You're not a, you know, you're not like me when it comes to drinking.
No,
But I
no.
forget what show it
I gotta
was.
tell you, I mean, I'm not against drinking. I'm not.
No, I know
Uh,
that.
but but I never got into it. Like maybe when I was younger, you know, social drinking with your friends and stuff like that. But I was always the designated driver.
Yeah,
You know,
not
my
me.
friend, not you. I know, I
Ask
know.
around. But I gotta say, now I can, like, I like to go out. Me and my girl would like to go to shows and dinner or whatnot. I used to be able to calculate how many times I drank by how many times I used Uber.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? I said, oh, so I
Yeah.
went out twice because I use Uber. Listen, if you drink and drive at this age, or in times when you got Uber or Lyft, and you're just a stunad, you're just dumb.
Yeah. I mean, like when we grew up, I think they were a lot more flexible. Nowadays, there's DWI stops everywhere. Like I said, I never got into that situation. Um, I never got into that situation where I got in trouble.
Well, when
That
we
I
when
drink
we
and
were
get
kids,
out and do this stuff.
yeah,
But I
when we
gotta,
were kids, though, when we were kids, the cops would tell us, "All right, you had enough. We'll follow you home."
yeah,
I mean, it wasn't really the right thing to do, but back then in the late '70s, they didn't bother with you. But it was kind of stupid if you think about it now. I mean, we.
I gotta tell you, the only time I ever came close was a few years back. I was in Buffalo, New York. I had a show with Victor Bitero. After the show, I have a lot of friends in Buffalo, and they're like, "Why don't you come out?" And my plan was to leave the car where it was, and no, I'm sorry. My plan was just to go there. I had two other friends of mine that came with me, and they went to different bars. I got a call. It goes, Tony, can you please drive us home? Drive us to the hotel. So I'm like, okay, I'll pick you up. I had a couple drinks, nothing major, nothing major. Uh, and I'm going back to the hotel, and they're like, "You gotta make a right over here. No, you gotta make a left. You gotta make a right." So I'm swerving right behind me, cop car. So now they stop me. Keep in mind, after a show, I had a problem with my feet. Okay, I couldn't walk. I honestly, because right. So
Yeah.
now my feet were like outside of my shoes. All right. So they're like, "Have you been drinking?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just had a couple." He goes, "Please step out of the car." So they made me get out of the car, and so they start, and they're like, "Can you please walk on a straight line?" I'm like, "I'll try, but I'm having problems with my feet. It just got done work." So you know, I wasn't walking really straight. So that now a raised flag again. Now they're telling me, "Can you please recite the letters of the alphabet?"
Hey.
Right? So I'm like A B C D. Now keep in mind, in my head, I always kept the Italian alphabet, which is missing the J, the K, the W, the Y. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm like, you miss a bunch of letters. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I know it fast, but in Italian. So at this point they think I'm drunk, you know. So now they get the little machine to blow in it, and
Yeah.
it wasn't working. And now he starts screaming at me. He was like, blow in it, blow harder. I'm like, listen, I don't know about you, but I don't blow anything, you know. Finally,
And listen, I had one before too, and I was like this. I was like, he goes, "Hey, that's not gonna do nothing."
yeah. But the problem is this, that the guys that I had in my car, they were smashed. So there was a stench of alcohol
Oh
all
yeah,
over.
alcohol.
So they thought it was, but I'm like, I'm getting arrested tonight. Until they did this, the pen, so you had
Yeah.
to follow it to it.
Uh-oh,
And
you
then,
took your glasses off. Get them back on.
that's it. Don't tell
I met
anyone.
uh I met Vic a couple of times up here too. You guys
Yeah.
came to Valley View. Getting back to Utica. You came for dinner a couple of times, no?
Yeah, at Jeff Daniels' place. I heard
Yeah,
they
yeah,
sold it.
Valley View.
No, Valley View is still there. I think you sold the Daniels. Daniele's, I believe.
No, is it? Well, okay. The one that Uncle Louie and Carlo did, he sold that. That's out. But the
Correct.
Valley View, where he come and had dinner
So,
at the golf course, you were with Vic. I was going to see the show that night. You guys came for dinner. Talked to Vic for a
yeah,
little bit. Down there,
great,
guy.
great food over there. I like Jeff a lot.
Well, that's
Good
why
guy.
you like Utica too.
I do, but see, you have to understand. I've been coming to Utica. I don't know if you know this, but my ex-girlfriend was from Utica. So before I started doing shows there, I was coming for a few years prior to that, and I started loving, a lot of stuff about it, from the food, which I think, being a smaller town, with not as many chains, almost no chains.
Nah.
I think, you guys were able to retain a lot of the great mom and pops restaurant. You guys have a lot
Yeah.
of great.
Listen, all the comfort foods. When we were kids, the beans and greens was part of the day, right? Now beans and greens,
I love the green.
14.95.
Yeah, I love the greens over there. I like the chicken riggies. I like the tomato pie you guys have, and I always do my rounds. You know what you guys have also, which, I mean, maybe officially is not from Utica, but almost everywhere you go, they do a great job. Is the like a prime rib steak sandwiches. Multiple
Yeah,
places do
there's about there's about four or five of them that I like. A new joint over on Culver Ave, old school. You know why they're all good though?
Yeah,
It's
I
because they use
actually, that's one
yeah,
of the
they use
places.
filet though, Tony. They use filet.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They chop shit. Hey, look, you're gonna pay for a steak sandwich, but you're gonna get filet. So
right.
you
Another
know.
place, Venturas. I always had good meals over there. Yeah.
So my father's restaurant and bar, it was a restaurant for a little bit, was kitty corner to Ventura's, which used to be a famous old staple in East Utica called Bazille's. That was one of the best restaurants, family style, everything. Fanny Bazille used to be the chef or the cook,
Yeah.
and it was legendary here. And so my father took it over years later, but they were there along the same time that Ventura's was there. Roofy's been there forever.
One of the things that I'm sad about, Utica, that is not just in Utica, that has happened everywhere. Bleecker Street, because Bleecker Street used to be strictly all Italians, and although there is still a lot of shops, like one of my favorite places, Caruso's Bakery with
Right,
Carmela. I always go over there. This
right.
Florentine. You got
Florentine.
Scronizzo Pizzeria. You still have Italian establishments, but not what is supposed to. And what a beautiful church, the one you use for San Cosimo Damiano.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
St. Anthony. So I'll tell you this: my great grandmother's house was on the corner of Jefferson and Bleecker. So when I was a
okay,
kid, I was always over there. There's a restaurant across the street called Graziano's Regal Restaurant, which,
okay,
back then, though, we didn't go out to dinner a lot unless it was some big occasion. You know what I mean?
right.
Dinner was always
We
home.
same way. We grew up the same way. There was usually
Yeah.
an
So they
occasion
were
to
there.
go.
And then, so yeah, Bleecker Street was all Italian. And Politari Joe's is still there. Matter of fact, I ordered from them Tuesday. I got Brajal, mushroom stew over
I'm sorry.
ziti
Who's
on
this?
Politari Ave. You heard of it or no?
I'm sorry. Who? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, my phone went off. It's called Politari Joe's. It's on the corner of Hubble. Well, it's Jay and Hubble. No, not Hubble.
Oh,
Jay and Politari Ave. Hello. But they've been there for like 60 years, and they serve the
wow.
same food. You know what I mean? The building's exactly the same. But I'll say this about Bleecker Street in that area. When the Italians moved out of that area for whatever reasons, made some more money, blah, 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 whatever. And that was the start of the neighborhoods going elsewhere. You know what I mean? Because when my daughter was a kid in my neighborhood in North Utica, there was no kids. When I was a kid, there was kids everywhere. So,
No, you
but
grew
what
up in
happened
East
was,
Utica, right?
yeah, oh, of course. So what
That's where all
happened
the
was,
Italians go.
yeah, the back then, even now, I mean, a lot of us are still here, but everybody took care of each other, for the most part. You always got the ones who, they don't want to share no money, blah blah blah. But so the Bosnian community came in after that, and you know what? They've done a great job in East Utica. They're like the next generation of immigrants that are in this
European.
town that are, fixing up the neighborhoods and doing what they need to do, which is no different than what our families did. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the
It's true.
neighborhood wasn't that good.
I actually met quite a few Bosnians down in Utica. Uh, my friend Mo, for example, is a bartender over
I know Mo. He's a bartender at Venturas.
at Venturas. But I met quite a few, and being European, we do have similar backgrounds. How
Absolutely.
you know whatever you own, you take pride in. You know what I mean? So if you take care of your house, make sure it's always in tip top shape. You do the driveway, you put the flowers, whatever you need to do.
That
And
was old
unfortunately,
school.
yeah, not every group does that.
Right.
But
Well,
we always did. That's why I think we're one of the major contributors in this country to in monuments and buildings. We have a big tradition that we always carried with us. I want to say hello to Julie Kosar. Hi, Julie, and Kelly Vitali. They're both on watching.
I
Uh,
can't see any of them. Tell them I said hello. Tell them if they ever
I
come to
will.
Utica, look me up.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, like I said, going back to Utica, it's one of those places that, like, it's not that it's a capital entertainment capital of the world, but I mean, I love the people. I made so many friends over there. It seems like I always have a reason to come there a couple times a week, whether it's I have to buy a car or I get my suit. I got I got the crazy man Frank Vita doing my suits.
Frankie Vita, che se dice Antonio? Listen to me.
Yeah,
The same friends that I have now, I had when I was in kindergarten. So you move away somewhere else
yeah,
and you tell them that your friends are the same friends you had from when you were 5. They don't believe it. They don't understand that. That's something
yeah,
about Utica that's very special. My friends are still the same friends
yeah.
from when I was in kindergarten, or maybe I met someone along the way, elementary school or high school.
Well,
We're all still friends. Now, do we hang out together? Not much because we're all older now. But
right.
we still have that same bond. That's a special thing about Utica. People like to talk shit about Utica, but it's this, it's
I tell
that.
you what,
The
I
buildings are
never.
falling apart, but the people are the best, especially East
No,
Uticans.
that's it. No, but you know, geographically though, you guys are in a good spot, right? It, Let me explain.
Okay.
Like in Utica, maybe first of all, anyway, you guys have great shows coming to the Stanley. You have the casino not too far where people do come. But in reality, most of the major shows, you guys are less than 3 hours away from anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, from there, you could go to Syracuse in 45 minutes. In 2 hours, you're in Rochester. Where now in 3 hours, I mean, another hour and such, you have Albany. And then you got about 3 hours, 3.5 hours. You got the major city in the world, which is New York City. So I
Another
mean,
hour, another half hour, you go to Connecticut. Listen,
yeah,
even your way. My nephew went to St. John Fisher. I took that,
great, great
watch play.
school, beautiful
Yeah, he
campus.
played baseball. I went there all the time. Go further, you go watch the Bills for another 45 minutes. You see the Bills. Go up
Right.
top, you can go to Canada. Go down past Albany, you go to the city. Yeah, you go to Saratoga. I mean, we're centrally located. See, that's why I don't get a lot of this shit that these people talk about. And there's nothing to do. Get in the car. The problem is, they don't want to
You
spend
know,
no money.
no matter what city you're from, people from the same city, most of the time, they talk down where they're from. You know what I
Not
mean?
me. I always talk it up. You know
Yeah,
what? I get
I'm the
pissed
same
off at
way.
my friends that talk. Oh, Michelle just told me stop swearing because I said I don't know what I said.
Oh, it's okay.
But
It's not a problem.
but I get pissed off at my friends who still live here for whatever reason,
Yeah.
and they're like, Utica sucks. Hey, Utica. Listen, all right, I understand maybe you can't leave for such and such a reason, but if it was so bad and it's so shitty, why are you still here? You know what I mean? I choose to be here. I like it here. Do I wish the taxes and all this other bullshit was different? I do.
But
But the people,
that's everywhere in New York.
right? But the people are the reason why I'm here. I still got my daughter's still here. My girlfriend's kids are here and grandkids, and I'm not sitting here complaining. Maybe someday I'll move because I'm
Yeah.
old, my bones hurt, and I want some warmer weather. But we can't say nothing about that because the weather does suck.
But I got to tell you one thing. When I came, I was blessed enough that usually the hotels were my sponsors in Utica, like the Radisson back in the day.
Yeah,
And the Marriott or even the Homewood Suite down in New Hartford. So I was, a lot of times because promoting the shows, I always have usually 4 shows in Utica per year. Okay, at the Stanley.
right.
So sometimes when we used to pass out the posters and postcards and do different TV, radio interviews, what I used to do, I used to stay about a week in Utica. I figured, why going back and just have the hotel.
Right.
And although everybody always complained there was nothing to do, I found something to do every night. Whether it was going down Saranac Thursday,
Yeah.
you know. Plus, you guys
Look,
have
I'm a little old for the Saranac anymore, but I know what you mean. But the music, see, Tony,
yeah,
you're right on spot because instead of sitting there, you looked, and if you look, there's places to go. There's things to do.
yeah. And like I said, I always had, especially in the summertime, some great restaurants where I love to sit outside by the water, like Aquavino was another one of my favorites. You know,
Michael Gino is a good friend of mine. He's a chef over there. I used to work for him. He
okay,
used to have a place on Bleecker Street called Gino's. I used to work in
okay,
the restaurant business, so I kind of know most of every restaurant. I've either know the owners or worked with whoever. I was a bartender. I started off as a busser, and then I breaded fish. There used to be a really nice place on Bleecker Street right next to Oskin Eats, which is the
yeah,
second oldest pizzeria in the country. It was a
yeah.
place
That's what
called
I heard.
Fisherman's Wharf, and it was top of the line seafood. And I moved myself up, and then I was a bus boy, and I always made my cash. As I got older, when I had a real, I shouldn't say a real job, but I always made the cash at the restaurants. The restaurant people. I feel really bad for those people, especially the waitresses and the bartenders,
Yeah,
because some of the restaurants are still getting a decent amount of play where they're able to stay open. But you go curbside, maybe
yeah.
your meal
That's
sitting
true.
inside was $80, so at least a 20% tip is $16, right? Now curbside, maybe people are leaving $5. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
that. Yeah.
Right. So I feel for them, but you
Um,
know I love
yeah,
the
I met.
restaurant business. I got too
Yeah.
old.
Um, One place I gotta check out is Tavolo, Sal Baruso's
Tavolo is my
place.
friend. Used to own Chesterfield's,
Right.
Sal Baruso
Yeah,
Jr. His dad just passed away. Sal actually used to live across the street from me
I
when
did
I
not
was a
know the
kid
Cell
on
Senior
Jefferson
passed
Ave.
away.
Huh?
I did not know the Cell Senior passed away.
Yeah, he passed away. I want to say maybe a couple, 2, 3 weeks ago. Um,
It had to be. Yeah, I did
yeah.
not know that.
Well,
That's
if you
uh,
you don't see it online or you don't look it up in
yeah,
Utica, you're not going to see it. A lot of that happens. But yeah, he
yeah,
passed away. I've been friends with his son for years. Sal's mother, Shirley, loved her to death. She was good friends with my mom. A great family, great people. Yeah, they got good food. You like it looks like you like to eat like me.
I do. I really enjoy. But I tell you what, over there, there's like it's so hard to decide what you want to eat over there because no matter what restaurant you go to, at least 90% of restaurants they have such a good menu and a lot of specific stuff that you guys make over there that I always indulge into. You know,
Let me ask you
so
this. If you're
yeah,
like me, I go to restaurants a lot. When I order, because I cook a lot. I order food that I don't normally make at home. Like I won't go
right.
out and eat
I'm the same way.
macaroni,
No, no, I'm the same way, and I
right?
love to cook. I used to own a restaurant for 7 years, and
I heard that.
yeah, and I was blessed enough to have an unbelievable chef. I don't know how I got her. She was one of the top chefs in Rochester. She actually was voted top chef in Rochester, and she ended up working for me. And she taught me because I couldn't let her work 7 days a week. So I'm like, listen, I want to learn. Why don't you teach me? That way, the day that you need off, 1 or 2 days a week,
I can
I
cook,
can take over the kitchen. Like on a Sunday or a Monday, the slower days.
right?
So
Look,
she taught me how to make all kinds of stuff. So now a real chef might know how to cook, you know, 200 things. Like they look at a basket full of all different kinds of
right?
meats or, you know, vegetables, and they can create. I learned how to make maybe 40, 50 real great entrees. And I perfected, I actually learned how to make it a top notch dish. And
Yeah,
thanks to her. So,
a lot of people think that Italian cooking is really hard. It's so simple. I mean, you could make a sauce, and not even aglio, but you can do garlic with olive oil. Throw some red pepper flakes in, a little chicken broth, throw some broccoli in there, throw the macaroni in there, and you're done. You know what I
but you
mean?
do
It's
that,
so easy, right?
but I think I agree. The only thing is this is that you got to make sure you have good ingredients. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Quality
people
ingredients,
do,
100%.
yeah, fresh, fresh ingredients. They do make a big difference. You know what I mean? Sometimes people might try to save some money and use, I don't know, I'm going to say something stupid like a garlic powder versus
I,
actually,
I don't even have it in my pantry.
right. But some people that do cook that way, instead of keeping a real garlic close, they use, some powder. But that's what I mean. Just, over here we have a nice, great public market uh, with hundreds of vendors, and you can always find fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, fresh everything on a daily basis. So it's easy to cook a nice, healthy, fresh meal. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about healthy, but yeah,
No, no, I'm telling you, if you can actually, you gotta, if you eat pasta, you gotta have, you
yeah.
can't have too much. But as a
Tony,
kid,
here's my favorite
you should
meal.
be able to have everything in moderation. That's all.
Here's my favorite meal: tortellini Alfredo with peas and prosciutto. Okay, the
Yeah.
Alfredo sauce is butter, heavy cream, and Romano cheese, and there's nothing healthy about it. But it's so good. You see on my Facebook about every 3 4 weeks I gotta make it. I just get the craving for it.
I think my favorite thing, I think the best dish I make
Mm.
is a risotto. I do a great seafood risotto with like pan-seared scallops, shrimp, and I use a real broth, no chicken, no fish
No,
stock.
out of the box. I know what you
I
mean.
make a seafood broth first. Zuppa di
Almost like a
pesce.
paella.
Yeah, I make a zuppa di pesce first. We don't know. We like 6, 7 different kinds. I use uh, like a mackerel. I use uh, squid. I use octopus. I use
You know my friend Vito at Kasuth Fish over here.
yeah, yeah.
The
On
best
Fridays I
fish.
go there.
See, you know
I
all the
course I
spots. We
know.
taught you.
I
And
know
the paella is right next to the Stanley. If you really like a nice paella, is at
Ancora.
Ancora.
Of
Yeah,
course,
see, you
come
know
on.
them all.
Of course, I know Dan Locanti and Ancoras.
Danny's a good boy.
He is. He's a good guy. I always stop by there, but like I said, I think 90% of the restaurants I've been to in Utica,
Yeah,
especially the
you're an honorary Utican. You're almost like Carlo and Lou. They're honorary Uticans. They come here all the time.
yeah. But we now because of COVID we stopped, but normally on Thursdays, first Thursday of every month, we come to Utica to do the Z Donaldson show at Disruption
Yeah,
Network.
You see Anthony now. He's got no more beard. He's got nothing. Clean shaven.
I know. Oh my God, he's a
His own bots. You
good
see that
guy.
he shaved half his face.
Yeah, no, I did. As a matter of fact, Z, I really did not know about Disruption Network, but I worked with them a lot at the Stanley.
Stanley, yeah.
So
He's
there was,
he runs the backstage a whole 9 yards, right?
yeah. I gotta tell you, I'm in love with the Stanley.
It's
I'm in love.
beautiful. People don't
But
understand what a gem it is. It's a gem.
everything, but things are done right over there. I mean, they got a great staff. As a matter of fact, while I was in Florida on tour with Uncle Louis, I met the previous general manager, Jerry Krause.
Jerry Krause, he used to be a
Now,
big time DJ back in the day over here.
yeah, and a radio personality. Uh, it was a rocker back in the days. And
Yeah,
I
they
had,
call him the doctor. His nickname was the doctor. Yeah, doctor.
we
He
worked
he still
together.
does a show on Sundays. Sort of like Van Morrison, kind of. I forget what they call the show. He does it from 9 to 12. It's kind of like geez, I don't even know how to describe the music, but it's kind of laid back rock kind of deal.
Yeah.
Van Morrison and
No, I was
that's
with him in February. He did a great job for the Stanley. And now uh, Lisa Wisely, she's doing a great job as well. One of my favorite people in the world is Linda I known. She's at the Stanley. She's one of the managers over there. She's incredible. But I always had a great relationship over there. And
yeah.
what the only thing that the Stanley's missing, the only thing is that, and I don't know if it's able possible, but to do a smaller theater inside as well. They got to make it more like a complex. You know what I mean? Because you got
You
to
mean you mean upstairs? Well, now upstairs what they're doing is they're having well, not now, but they were having dinners upstairs
yeah, but
in the
that's for
Romano
different
room.
people. I'm talking about. See, I've been to a lot of the great venues like the Stanley,
Yeah,
but what they do have it's a theater that fits maybe 600 to 1,000. So people that what do you call it? People that want to see. Sometimes it's hard to book a show that you're gonna fit the. For example, my comedy shows. You know, I'm never gonna get unless you get Sebastian Maniscalco. You're never gonna
right,
sell 2,000 tickets. You know,
right.
so. But other
So
than that,
you're thinking something like Madison Square Garden when they have a separate piece,
right,
the
and they do
forum, right?
right. That's what I'm saying. But I don't know if it's feasible to do in that space. They would have to, buy an adjacent building or whatever. But anyway, then it was a pleasure. I can't believe the hour flew by.
Well, guess what? I'm glad you text me, and I can't believe an hour went by already too. But listen, make sure you stay in touch with me.
Of course.
Through Facebook, text, or whatever. You know what I mean? And maybe someday I'll be a comedian, and
Well,
you can promote me.
last
But
question.
well,
Are you going to keep doing some of your funny videos still?
Well, it's funny that you asked that. I'm not. The videos are done, but Z at the Disruption Network asked me if I wanted to do my own show.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, so I'm gonna bring my friend Larry in with me. We got a nice little rapport going with me. As soon as this is all done, I don't even know all done is the proper phrase, but as soon as this is passes and we can get back into that studio, maybe I think me and Larry might give it a go. And
Make
what's
sure
the
you
worst
say
going to
hello to
happen?
Larry
Nobody
for Joe.
watches. Who cares?
Make sure you say hello to Larry for me.
I will. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much. And for everybody that's watching, tomorrow we're gonna have one of the finalists of Let's Comic
Wait
Standing.
a minute. Wait, you tried to show me up. Now you got a finalist somewhere. Let me see. Sal Valenti?
No. This is the comedy.
All right.
Let's Comic Standing. I got Joseph Anthony. They call him the Truth, but
I
I think
seen
he's
him
more,
before. I seen him before.
yeah, he
Funny
is a
guy.
funny man. To me, it should be called the most miserable man in comedy. But
I'm miserable.
he's hilarious. And tomorrow will be on tour 3. And if you haven't done yet, find me on Tony Napoli Comedy on Facebook or Tony Napoli channel on YouTube. Please subscribe so we can make the channel grow a little bit faster. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you,
All
everybody.
right,
And I'll
Antonio,
see
un
everybody
bacio.
tomorrow.
All
Ciao,
right.
ciao.